Welcome to the Coastal Lowcountry Real Estate Channel. Are you looking to move to the Georgia, South Carolina Lowcountry? Moving into a new home is often a great opportunity to start fresh. From exploring your new community, meeting new friends, and decorating your new home. How do you make sure that the investment you've made in your new home stands the test of time? A house is usually one of the largest purchases that anyone can make. So how do you make sure your home will not look outdated or in need of repair soon after you move in? Today, we're going to explore designing your home with our interior design expert and identify elements that will make your home timeless. And I believe her tips not only apply to the interior design of your home, but often apply to the actual construction of the home. And if you stay until the end of the video, we will provide you her contact information in case you have questions or need her assistance.
Welcome to the Georgia, South Carolina Lowcountry. We're Keith and Donna Hellman, hosts of the Coastal Lowcountry Real Estate Channel and local realtors with Keller Williams. Do you want to know everything there is to know about living in the Lowcountry? Whether it's Savannah, Georgia, Hilton Head, South Carolina, Bluffton, South Carolina, or the surrounding areas? Well, then subscribe below and tap the bell for notifications so that you'll be the first to know what's going on in our market.
And we receive calls, emails, and texts every day from folks just like you looking to move to Hilton Head, Bluffton, and Savannah areas. And we absolutely love serving you.
So whether you're looking to move in the next week, the next month, or the next year, shoot us a text, send us an email, give us a call, or schedule a Zoom call, all in the description below so that we can help make your move to the Lowcountry a smooth one. Hey, Let's get started.
Hi, this is Donna, and we're here to talk with Annalise Mahopoulos with Mahopoulos Designs, and we are going to be talking about the top 10 tips on home designs that are timeless. And Annalise, I'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts more about what is timeless design.
So Donna, for me, when I hear timeless design, I really think about something that can stand the test of time, right? There's a lot of ways you can do that in the interior of your home. And one of them is to do it with quality details, right? So for me, when I am designing a space for myself or for a client, I'm looking at those quality finishes. And that can be in your furniture, the actual finishes you choose to make your home with, or even the furniture that you choose.
Annalise, that was a great first tip, and I appreciate that. What is your second point that you'd like to make about timeless design?
Sure. So for my second tip, I would say it's all about that built-in look. For me as a designer, that means looking around the home and seeing ways that you can keep those built-in pieces throughout the home if they already exist, or adding them to the home if you're designing your space.
Does that mean bookcases that are built in, for example?
Sure. It can mean your bookcases, your cabinetry. Think about your closet. Even a cute little window seat could have a built-in look.
Oh, I love window seats.
Me
They're
too.
so cute.
Yes.
What? A little couple of little pillows. And...
yeah. Just adds to that coziness for sure.
Oh, that's great. So, where do we go from here? What about colors in the home?
Yes, that's probably my number one question from clients. How do I make my home feel timeless with color? My biggest tip for that is just choose a neutral palette for your biggest features. And obviously that includes the walls.
Oh my, we can't have purple or chartreuse or...
I will never say can't in design, but for your walls, I would really encourage you to stick to that neutral palette. So right, your whites, your off-whites, we all know there's a multitude of whites, but white, creams, grays, use those for the basis and then add color where you can with finishes and soft furnishings.
Well, one of the things that so many of my friends have asked me here lately is, what about gray?
Yes. And we can overdo the gray, right? So for me as a designer, I try to encourage my clients to use a mix of that palette, right? So a lot of times, and as you see in this space, maybe a white wall, an off-white backsplash. If you're gonna do a gray cabinet, then try to make sure you do fixtures that accent that and not just add to the overall gray. So you can really dance around that palette and still stay neutral.
Oh, that sounds great. And I guess tip number 4, I'd love to hear.
Sure, this is one of my favorites. So tip number 4 is really introducing traditional textures and materials throughout your home to add to that timeless look.
Oh, great. Does that mean any burlap still? I know burlap used to be very popular.
Yeah, burlap was popular. I can remember those days, but it can mean anything. And I really do encourage folks to lean into those natural materials, and burlap is one of them. But as we saw, you can overdo anything. So try to do a mix, right? So for every textured linen, I would say also try and find a balance with a wood grain and a stone. And you can also do that with metallic. In the kitchen, that's pretty easy because you have faucets and hardware. But try to introduce them in other spaces too.
Oh, that's interesting. I'd also read recently about copper pots and things like that.
Yes.
Are they becoming a little more popular, and are they timeless?
Sure. I personally believe that copper pots and things like that are, of course, timeless. You have those traditional metals, right? So your brass, your coppers, your gold finishes. They're really popular right now, and they were really popular back in the traditional time periods because that's the metals they were working with. Everything within a little bit of balance and reason, I think, is fair. And in the kitchen, those are great materials to use.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And ladies, we've got more to talk about. And I know you're enjoying this because we're still talking about timeless design. So Annalise, I was curious about what your next point is, because we have some beautiful quartz to look at right here behind us.
Sure. So that leads me to my next point, and that's the focal point. This is a tried and true method in any kind of design. Timeless or not, you need to have a focal point. And that really helps bring a space together. And in timeless design, it can really help draw your eye to a certain position. So in the kitchen we're sitting in today, you drew your attention to our hood and that backsplash. Thank you. So we decided to run the quartz straight up underneath the hood, and that added a focal point in this small kitchen.
I'm loving this. I want this in my home.
Thank you, Donna.
But also, I was curious with a focal point, is it timeless to have maybe one specific color on the wall, say in a master bedroom, and then maybe the other colors on the walls are neutral?
Sure. So you're talking like an accent wall.
Yes.
Accent walls, of course, are timeless in different ways. But I encourage folks, when they're thinking about an accent wall, try not just to splash one bold color on the wall. We saw that a lot in the early 2000s.
Yes.
The red focal wall comes to mind. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Try and add some molding or do some variation. I think there's some great examples out there right now with picture molding, but you can also do two tones. So maybe do the bottom 2/3 in one color and the top in either a wallpaper or a different color, just to add some variation and some movement, and it'll help draw your eye upward.
Oh, that's wonderful. Would you do that throughout the bedroom, the master bedroom?
Sure, you sure can. It just depends on the space, and that's where hiring a designer or even talking to your realtor might help.
And Annalise, I'd love for us to talk more about kitchens, because all the women out there love to design a kitchen that is timeless and has no time stamp.
Sure, Donna. So yeah, as we're sitting in my green kitchen, I get that asked a lot. What kind of kitchen is truly timeless? And on the slide, you saw 3 different kitchens that I think really represent this pretty well. A good kitchen has good finishes, and those quality finishes help build that timelessness. And you can do that in a lot of ways, but one of them is the farmhouse sink. A lot of people ask me, is that trendy right now or is it timeless? And it's been around for hundreds of years. So for me, timeless.
Oh. That is interesting.
Yeah. So we're coming out of a trend period where a lot of timeless things were in style. So luckily we've seen a lot of it and a lot of great examples of it in the recent years. But when you're following the rules that we've already set, some of those tips about the neutral palette and quality finishes, those especially apply in the kitchen.
Anyone designing a kitchen, would they still be able to use a stainless steel sink?
Absolutely. Stainless steel is a great material, and it's a great way to add a little bit of that vibrance that we talked about in those metallics. So when you're thinking about your textures and your materials, that can be your shiny part, right? I try to say find a balance with those textures. So it could be your wood grains and a metallic, a shiny stone and a wood, a matte paint and a shiny sink. So just try and have a little bit of variance throughout.
Annalise, and I'm curious about the continuity that we must carry out in a home.
Sure. Yeah. Continuity and achieving that in your home can really help add to that timeless effect in the space. And one of the spaces we can do that, especially, is in the primary bathroom and the other bathrooms in the home.
Okay.
So when you're thinking about designing your home, I'd encourage you to really think about how can the finishes reflect the architectural style and the architecture of your actual house. The bathroom can be really a unique space, and it's a place that you can showcase your own personal interests, but to make it timeless, I encourage you to think about the architecture of your house and the style that it is, and try to reflect that a little bit in the bathrooms and, of course, the rest of the house.
Well, I'm curious, too, about one of my favorites is the standalone tub. And is that something that's timeless?
Absolutely, Donna. So we see those standalone, freestanding, beautiful bathtubs in the luxury high-end residential homes. And they really are timeless because they've been around for hundreds of years. It's funny, something that came from so long ago is now one of those high-end statement pieces in those primary bathrooms that we see in the magazines. But when you really think about it, it's all they had back then, right? Was the freestanding cast iron tub. When you're choosing pieces in your bathrooms and around your home, think about what has stood that test of time.
Annalise, I know that we have talked about some neutral palette, and how can we bring in a little more color in a room like that?
Absolutely, Donna. So yeah, when you're having a neutral palette around your home, you're going to want to bring in some color and pops of interest. One of the best ways to do that is to bring some nature into the space. And you can do that in a lot of ways with live plant, photos of nature, and just various different ways that you can add back that color.
And some of the botanical prints that I've seen are so pretty. Can you pop some of those in your home?
Absolutely.
Add some other things like that?
Yeah, you can go for a more abstract theme where you have the prints of the foliage or dried pieces of foliage.
Oh, that's in my home. They mostly dry up after a while.
Absolutely. So dried, whether you intended or not, it counts as bringing nature in.
Okay, great. And Annalise, I've got a big question here because we all have these huge TVs that are absolutely wonderful, and we have probably in several rooms of the house. What do we do with these TVs and technology that we have today?
Sure, yeah. Our lives are surrounded with technology in every space. I really encourage you to make the focus on art and not technology in your space to really help add to that timelessness. You can do that in a couple ways. Obviously, we talked about the focal point, and if the focal point is the TV, it kind of detracts from a more timeless look. So I would encourage you to shift that focal point to a piece of art. If you have a fireplace, that's an obvious option, and shift the technology off of that space if you can.
Oh, so maybe the TV should go in a corner?
Sure.
Somehow, even though it's large.
Yeah. So you can obviously do an adjacency. So put it at a 90-degree angle from that. And turn the attention. So you can have a TV on a different wall and have a nice art piece. Sometimes that art piece could even be over your sofa, and it just helps add a visual interest that's not just your technology.
That's great. Annalise, thank you for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure. And anything else you'd like to share with the folks out there, we would appreciate it.
Sure, Donna. My final tip to you guys is to really just focus on making your house a home. That can really add to the timelessness of the space. think about what you enjoy doing in your home and try to capture that in what you choose to do with the design of it. And of course, if you need help, feel free to reach out. I encourage you to follow me on Instagram at Mahopolis Design or check me out at www.mahopolisdesign.com.
Thank you so much for staying with us to the end of the video. We hope you have enjoyed hearing Annalise's thoughts and ideas on timeless design, and we hope you found this helpful and maybe even learned something new. A couple of the big ideas that I took away from our discussion were: make sure you use quality items when decorating your home, whether it's finishes or furniture. Quality may cost a little bit more right now, but over time it will save you money. And quality often means putting items in our home that have been around for years, even decades. And neutral colors are the foundation of design and often provide contrast, as a result, attention to elements of color as they are introduced. This helps those colorful items stand out and become a focal point, whether it's a piece of artwork, an accent wall, or elements of nature. If you want to stay up to date on the latest on what's happening in the Georgia, South Carolina coastal lowcountry, please be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications so you'll be the first to know about the current market here. And if the lowcountry looks like the place you would like to call home and you need help finding your home, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or book a Zoom call, all in the description below. Again, this is Keith and Donna Hellman, hosts of Coastal Lowcountry Real Estate and Local Realtors. It has been an absolute pleasure spending time with you again today.